It's here. Just gonna talk about my day and yeah. My day is pretty good. Right now I studied microbiology when I went to school. I only had 2 classes today because today's my short day, so yeah. Because most days I usually have 3 classes, but today I had only 2, which is pharmacology, and I also had promotion of health. First, pharmacology, which we talked about. It was our first official lecture day. We talked about the definitions of what we need to know for pharmacology. What is pharmacology itself, the definition of it. Definition. Basically, it was understanding definitions of pharmacology. Their basis. Like, pharmacokinetica is basically it explains the statistics, the time of absorption. Like, how does your body, your cells and your tissues affect by time, and the pharmacal, or the medication, basically the medication. How is your body reacting while the medication's in effect? And yeah, base and pharmacodynamica is basically the long-term effects, like when it's already out, but like the long-term use of that medication, or the long-term effects in a larger scale. It's not time; it's more effects, but with a bigger scale. Not just one person. I'm gonna do a set just like 100 people. How do they get affected? Yeah. We also talked about the definition of medication, and I'm gonna use the Spanish word fármaco. Basically, is fármaco is basically a substance that you are investigating but you haven't made on patients. You're just investigating the substance, the chemical structure. You're doing studies of it. You're basically researcher. You're researching on the structure. But a medication is basically when you already have the knowledge of how to use it. Like, what can you use it for? So it's your, basically, when you're dealing with the patient already. And why for cancer medications. I could say that I'm investigating, I think, Barcelona, I'm just making an example, hypothetical. I'm investigating, I think it could work for cancer. I'm investigating, and I'm seeing, and then years later, I feel confident, and I found out it does work quite well. My knowledge, I've used it before. It's basically the knowledge. You already have the knowledge of how to use it when you are prescribing it to patients. And pharmacology is the study of understanding how substances like chemicals, basically your medications, affect the body. Pharmaconomic is basically the effects of economic effects of of a of a pharmacal, of a basically a of a medication, the long term economic effect, and then we went into the placebo. We also talked about the placebo. Placebo is basically, it doesn't really do anything, but it's more your psychology basically. Oh, the placebo does work, but it's really just a sugar pill. It really is doing nothing. It's just your mind is made to think it's doing something. A lot of controlled based studies give a placebo. Like, you're basically given a sugar pill, and another person that's anonymous gets the real thing. Because they use that for comparison. It's more like a baseline for comparison. And yeah, and then we switched off to the history of pharmacology. Pharmacology itself, the father of pharmacology is Galileo. The inventor of penicillin is Alexander Fleming, and Louis Pasteur. He was the one that discovered the vaccine for rabies. And we were learning about the history that pharmacia it's the study of the pharmacological basis of plants. Like, because some plants actually you can use for medicine, such as marijuana, but you have to also be careful with it, because you can't really control the dosage of plants. Like, certain plants actually have harmful effects, such as just certain mushrooms, but also some can have great effects, like such plant that's actually a good relaxant, like good for sleep and to get you relaxed to sleep. But like belladonna, if you do it in high dosage, you can actually, it can make a coma. It's a death wish, basically. Death wish, a coma. And so, and that's what's kind of dangerous about plants, because you cannot control the dosage that you're giving. So they have to be constantly studied. Like a medication where you can control how much you're giving. And then I had promotion of health. Promotion of health, we talked about the models of how health is how we promote health, like what models and what actions do we use, like such as days for walking, and like basically putting on taxes on unhealthy, such as tobacco, unsugary drinks, to basically dissuade people from going for those. Or like YouTube videos. Some YouTube videos have the idea of like trying to promote an idea of, like, in class we saw a video of actually mocking the Coca-Cola bears. But it's because they're trying to explain that it does cause diabetes, type 2 diabetes, because of the constant sugar being added into the body. So yeah, I'm